Understanding idiomatic phrases can make learning English much more interesting and enjoyable. Idioms are expressions whose meanings aren't obvious from the individual words. They often come from stories, traditions, or daily life, and English speakers use them to make their speech more colorful and engaging. Today, let's explore 5 common idiomatic phrases: to get a second wind, to burn the midnight oil, to beat around the bush, to pull someone's leg, and to bite off more than you can chew. We'll learn what each phrase means, where it's used, and see some easy examples so you can start using them yourself. Let's start with to get a second wind. Imagine you're running a race. At first, you feel strong, but after a while, you get tired and slow down. Suddenly, you feel less tired and have new energy. You can run faster again. That's called getting a second wind. So, to get a second wind means to suddenly feel more energetic and able to continue after being tired or worn out. It's not only for running or sports. You can use it for any activity. For example, if you're working on homework late at night and start to feel sleepy, but then find new motivation and finish quickly, you've gotten a second wind. So, whenever you feel tired but then find new strength to keep going, you can say you got a second wind. Next, let's look at to burn the midnight oil. Long ago, people used oil lamps for light, especially at night. If someone worked late, when it was dark, they needed to use these lamps. So burning the midnight oil means staying up late to work or study. Today, people use this idiom to talk about working late at night, often to finish something important. For example, if you have a big exam tomorrow and you study until midnight, you're burning the midnight oil. You can use it for school, work, or any project that keeps you up late. It's about dedication and working hard, even when you'd rather be sleeping. Now, let's talk about to beat around the bush. Imagine you're looking for something important in a bush, but instead of going straight to the spot, you walk around the bush, avoiding the center. In conversation, to beat around the bush means avoiding the main topic or not saying what you really mean. People do this when they are nervous, unsure, or don't want to say something directly. For example, if you ask your friend if they want to go to the movies and they talk about the weather or other plans, but don't answer you directly, they are beating around the bush. If you want someone to be more direct, you can say, "Don't beat around the bush, just tell me." It's about avoiding the main point instead of getting straight to it. Another fun idiom is to pull someone's leg. This phrase means to joke or trick someone in a friendly way. If you pull someone's leg, you tell them something that's not true, usually as a joke, and then reveal the truth. For example, if your friend says, "I saw a dog driving a car today," and you look surprised, they might laugh and say, "I'm just pulling your leg." It's a way to tease someone playfully. It's important to know that pulling someone's leg is not mean. It's for fun and laughter. If someone tells you something strange and then says, "I'm just pulling your leg," you know they were joking. Finally, let's explain to bite off more than you can chew. This idiom comes from eating. If you take a very big bite of food, it's hard to chew and swallow. In life, this means taking on more work or responsibility than you can handle. If you accept a big project, new job, or promise to do many things at once, but find it's too difficult, you've bitten off more than you can chew. For example, if you agree to help 3 friends move on the same day, and it's too much for you, you might say, "I've bitten off more than I can chew." It's a warning to be careful not to take on too much at once. Let's look at some simple examples for each idiom to help you remember. For to get a second wind, imagine you're cleaning your room. At first, you feel tired, but after a short break, you feel energetic and finish quickly. You can say, "I got a second wind and finished cleaning." For to burn the midnight oil, think about studying for a test. You study late into the night, and in the morning, you tell your friend, "I burned the midnight oil to get ready for the exam." For to beat around the bush, imagine asking your teacher if you passed the test. The teacher talks about how everyone did well, about how hard the test was, but doesn't say if you passed. You might think, my teacher is beating around the bush. For to pull someone's leg, maybe your brother says, there's a dinosaur in the backyard. You look outside and see nothing. Your brother laughs and says, I'm just pulling your leg. And for to bite off more than you can chew, you decide to organize a party, cook for everyone, and clean the house all by yourself. It's too much work, so you say, I've bitten off more than I can chew. Each of these idioms helps you describe feelings, actions, and situations in a fun and creative way. They make your English sound more natural and help you understand native speakers better. Idioms are an important part of English because they show how language is connected to culture and daily life. When you use idioms, you're not just speaking English, you're sharing traditions and stories that have been passed down for years. They can make your conversations more interesting and help you express ideas that are hard to say with simple words. If you want to remember these idioms, try using them in your daily conversations. If you feel tired but suddenly have new energy, say you got a second wind. If you work or study late, say you burned the midnight oil. If someone avoids answering your question, notice that they're beating around the bush. If you joke with your friends, tell them you're pulling their leg. And if you take on too much work, admit you've bitten off more than you can chew. Learning idioms is a great way to improve your English and understand more about the culture. As you hear these phrases, pay attention to how people use them. Try to practice them with friends or classmates. The more you use idioms like these, the more comfortable you'll become with English. Remember, idioms don't always make sense when you translate them word for word. That's why it's helpful to learn their meanings and see how they're used. With practice, you'll be able to use idioms naturally and understand them when others speak. So, next time you're tired, but keep going, get a second wind. If you work late, burn the midnight oil. If someone isn't direct, notice they're beating around the bush. If you hear a strange story, ask if someone is pulling your leg. And if you take on too much, remember not to bite off more than you can chew. These idioms will help you speak English with confidence and enjoy the richness of the language.